as mentioned, my name is Trista Pewapisconias. I am a proud Nehiao as well, Little Pine First Nation of Dunia, so which means I am a proud Cree woman from the Little Pine First Nation in Western Saskatchewan. And I've been working with Co-operatives First for the last 3 years, and I am the Indigenous Relations Lead. And so for anybody who's unfamiliar with Co-operatives First, we are a business development organization created to promote and support new cooperative businesses in the rural and Indigenous communities in Western Canada. So I would like to go over our strategy and kind of our new campaign that we have just recently released in March of 2021 of Indigenous engagement and how we work with new Indigenous. So yes, we have created a new campaign, and this is our branding for the campaign, and it is the Your Way Together. So for more information, look under our resources. You can check out cooperativesfirst.com or yourwaytogether.ca. So as mentioned before, Cooperatives First supports new cooperative businesses throughout Western Canada. So mainly focused on the rural and Indigenous. So it's co-ops of all structures, from producer, worker, multi-stakeholder investment. We just support any type of cooperative out there. So the Your Way Together campaign is to increase and to be more appealing to the Indigenous market. It was created with 5 years of compiling information and working with Indigenous communities, seeing what the barriers are, seeing what differences and knowledge that Indigenous communities have or barriers they face, especially when dealing with building businesses on a First Nation. So we created, yes, the campaign. This campaign, we use the branding of bringing in a mosaic of the different nations. And I have a short video that I would like to share with everyone. Can you tell me if you could actually see the video, if it's showing up?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay, so I will play the short video that goes over our campaign.
Do you want to put it on full screen?
There's no sound though.
Okay.
You probably need to share your sound. Remember, we talked about that with Victor. He needed to unshare his sound. You probably need to share your sound.
Okay.
Once the sound's working, maybe you can put it on full screen so it's a bit bigger too.
Trista, if you stop sharing and then share again, there's a tab that says advanced, and then you should see a radio button that says share sound.
Okay.
I believe there is big opportunity for our First Nations communities. The concept of cooperative models and the principles behind cooperatives, I believe, mirror what our
Now we
values
don't
are
see the
within our
picture.
community. We could create multiple jobs in multiple communities if we are able to come.
The audio is crystal though.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
if you
Yeah,
stop
the
share
audio
and
is
then click on the
perfect.
box with the actual file. So when you stop share, you should see all the boxes. When you screen share, you should see all the boxes up your desktop and the actual image or file. Click on that as opposed to your desktop. Hopefully that helps. Perfect.
I believe there is big opportunity for our First Nations communities. The concept of cooperative models and the principles behind cooperatives, I believe, mirror what our values are within our communities. We could create multiple jobs in multiple communities if we are able to come together and have that conversation about the model itself. Far too often, it's the First Nations leaders in the community or the board of directors. Why can't we have community members being part of that control?
Starting a business on First Nation is much more challenging than off Nation. The Your Way Together guidebook is a collection of information on developing a co-op on a First Nation. It includes information on the co-op model, legislation that applies to businesses on a First Nation, and business development, including financing on a First Nation.
There's a story behind the graphics. The design visually represents First Nations from the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, all the way through to the Plains Cree in Saskatchewan. And I'm really proud that I'm able to pair these all together and create a mosaic that represents essentially a map of Western Canada.
I hope the guidebook starts a conversation within communities to see whether the co-op model is a right fit for them.
I'm an advocate for it, and people need to hear it and actually see it in action.
Okay, so yeah, that was our introduction video to our introduction to the Your Way Together campaign. So
Thank you so much, Trista. That was really helpful, really good. And we're so glad you were able to be here. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I still have a few more slides. So the campaign includes a website, so the Your Way Together, as well as a downloadable guidebook on starting the Indigenous cooperative on First Nation. We also have workshops on exploring cooperatives called the Your Way Together Creating Connections, and how a co-op may fit within an Indigenous community's economic development strategy, and a monthly newsletter that we create new resources and new stories. We have blogs, and we've been able to interview some very high-profile Indigenous leaders that we will be releasing and sharing with everybody, just to create more of the conversation and the dialogue of Indigenous cooperatives. So when we work with communities, the campaign is to start the conversation. We outline how we're going to support groups using the co-op model. And as for the imagery, we wanted to really avoid pan-Indigenous imagery, and we wanted to recognize the individual nations, and that no two First Nations are the same. Nations have their own distinct languages, their spiritualities, stories, and legends for each community. For myself, I grew up and I am from the Little Pine First Nation. And there's a hill. So on one side of the hill is Little Pine, on the other side is Tonbaker First Nation. So we're right beside each other, we're neighbors, but yet there's so many differences just between the two nations. So going across and working throughout Western Canada there's so much diversity. We didn't want to create one where it's only representative of one nation. We wanted to create this, our brand as a map of Western Canada. So if you look at both Cree, Coast Salish, Blackfoot, Métis, Lakota, there's pieces of their art and their stories within the imagery of the Your Way together. We wanted to bring them all together to show that we are working with many different nations. And so our approach is just being transparent in how we're working, how we work with Indigenous communities to create their co-op their way. And ensure that the co-op is reflective of their own nation's values, culture, and being respectful and coming in and start coming into new communities with an open heart and open mind, so that we are seen as genuine and we are just trying to help. We are not enforcing our belief system, and we want them to create their own co-op because at the end of the day, we will be working with many cooperatives and we are not there to continuing. We don't want to set anything up that we're imposing our ideas on, because they're the ones who are going to have to run it and make sure that it has success for their community. And so as much as I'd like to learn about communities before I enter and start working with them, I'm also going in with a blank slate, so I don't have any preconceived notions of that I understand the community, learn as much as I can when I start working with them. So that is our approach, and I want to thank you for your time and allowing me to share